These are your 4-3 notes on writing equations in slope-intercept form. Today we're going to concentrate on using point-slope form. So we're going to introduce yet another form of linear equations. So point-slope form looks a little different than slope-intercept, but it has the name point-slope because it actually is written using a point on the line and then the slope on the line. And so if you know the slope of the line and any point, that's what I like about point slope, is you can use any point on that line. So if you look at the picture, it doesn't have to be the y-intercept. When we use slope-intercept, you'd have to use this little b value. But when we use point slope form, we can use any point on the line, any ordered pair. You take the x and the y, and you plug them into these spots. So the slope is being multiplied on the outside of those parentheses. And then the y value is over with the y and the x is with the x. So let's go ahead and come up with our solution as to how to write equations. So we're going to find the value of slope, or if they give it to us, we're going to substitute that in there. Find one point, substitute that in for x1 and y1, and then we clean it up. So if it tells you to leave it in point slope form, we'll just leave it in that form. If they tell us to put it in slope-intercept form, we'll have to distribute and use inverse operations. Maybe they'll ask us to put it into standard form, and so we'll have to do that as well. So it just depends on what form they want us to have the answer put in. So we're going to write the equation in point-slope form of the line that passes through the given point. So they're giving us a point. So this would be our x1 and our y1, and then they're giving us the slope is -6. So the equation here, y minus y equals m times x minus x. So this is the x1 and the y1. They come second in the equation. So since my y value is 5, I'm going to write y minus 5. My slope is -6. And then my x1 value is -2. When I subtract that, though, it becomes minus, and -2 becomes +2. So that right there is point-slope form of an equation. To graph, you simply start at that point, -2, +5. So instead of starting at the y-intercept, we start at the particular point they give us, and then we count slope. Down 6 over 1. Down 6 over 1. And then you connect and extend. It's that simple. I actually like point-slope form more than I do like slope-intercept. So for this next example, here's my x1 is 4, my y1 is 3, and my m value or slope is -1/2. So y minus 3 is equal to -1/2 x minus 4. And so when we look at this, we're going to use the point 4, 3. So I go over 4, up 3 to get my ordered pair. That's my beginning point. And then I'm going to count down 1 over 2 for slope. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to count up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. I need at least 3 points to connect and extend. And there you have it. So remember, we talked that forms are just the names of the equations. This name doesn't give us the y-intercept. This name gives us a different point on the line and the slope. Point-slope form. They're asking us to take these point-slope forms and put them into standard form. So what that requires is that we distribute the 2/3 through. So 2/3 x, and 2/3 times -3 is just a -2. And I need to put this in standard form. So if you remember standard form, we got to have the x values on the left. So -2/3 x plus y minus 5 equals -2. I got to bring over that 5, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. -2/3 x plus y is equal to 3. I'm in the right order for standard form, but it's a negative and it's a fraction. So if I multiply everything in this equation by -3, every single term, make it -3 times the size, the -3 times the -2 makes +6, divided by 3 gives me a 2x minus 3y equal to -9. Now I have true standard form. If you look at the example for number 4, I'm going to distribute my negative 5 through the parentheses here. Y plus 7 is equal to negative 5x minus 15. To put this into standard form, I'm going to add 5x to both sides, and I think you guys are ready for it. If I'm going to move the 5x over here, I need to move the 7 over here. If you're ready for it, could you say minus 7 all in the same step? Okay, so I'm using inverse operations. I'm going to move the 5x. It was negative, so I'm adding it to both sides. And I'm going to move the 7 from the left side to the right. If you don't like that, do it in 2 separate steps. So this leaves us with 5x plus y, my positive and negative 7 cancel, equals, my 5x's cancel, negative 22. I look at all the rules of standard form, and that's in true standard form. Looking at graphs and putting it in point slope form. Okay, so that's the new one that we learned today. So I need a point on the graph. So I'm going to use this point. You could use any point you want. And so I decided to use this point, and that's negative 3, 0. And I got to find my slope. So if I use this point to find my slope, I'm going down to 3 to the left. So that's a negative 2/3 slope. So I have my ordered pair, and I have my slope. So my point slope form would be y minus 0 is equal to positive 2/3 x plus 3. Now you could have several different answers for point slope, because if I used a different point, say this point here, I would have the same slope, but I would have a different ordered pair in there. So there's several different answers that will work for point slope. For number 6, maybe I will count from, looks like my y-intercept all the way down to my x-intercept. So my slope would be down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my slope is negative 1/5, and I can use either one of those ordered pairs. I might as well use 0, 1 as my ordered pair. So y minus 1 is equal to negative 1/5 x minus 0. For number 7, I wanted to show you one of these special case scenarios. When you have a vertical line, there's no form, there's no slope. So we just got to remember that vertical lines are of the form x equals something. This is x equals negative 2, 0, negative 2, 1, negative 2, 2. X is always going to be equal to negative 2. So I don't care what form, when you have a vertical line, one motion, one variable. That's all you can do there. Your lesson summary: identify the slope and the point on the line with that equation, and then I want you to write the standard form of this equation, but you got to go through point slope form. So use point slope form to set it up and then clean it up. Your answer should be in standard form. Good luck.